So the cope has begun for JDM. People aren't happy that Islam Makhachev ragdoll dominated him, made him cry, okay? Literally made him cry. People aren't happy. Got a lot of cope on my reaction to the fight. We got a lot of cope on X, and we got a lot of cope from the MMA Guru, which is quite interesting, which I think we go into. I want to go in, before we jump into the cope, I just want to go in by saying this. I picked JDM to win. I thought JDM would win this fight. I thought he'd make it competitive. I thought he'd stuff the takedowns. I thought he'd piece Islam up on the feet and win a decision just by boxing the head off of him. I like both guys. I like Islam. I like JDM. Okay, I like them both. I think they're both great guys. Great fighters. I was happy either way. Whoever won this fight, as long as it was, a good fight, which I thought it was a good fight. Okay, if I had to rank it on a tier list, like from D tier to S tier, I'd probably give it like a B or a C. Which is decent. It wasn't a barn burner, but it wasn't completely shit. Like, I enjoyed it. Okay, but I'm happy with the result. And I'd be happy if JDM won. You know what I mean? As long as the fight was decent, I was happy. So, but I'm not going to cope. Like, yeah, I got my pick wrong. Like, completely wrong. Very, very wrong. I'm not going to cope, though. I'm going to just be like, you know what? Islam's that fucking good. He is that good. But we got a lot of people coping. And I figured we'd look into it today. Because it's funny. This is the third video in the cope series. I did one when people were coping for Dricus. And I did one when people were coping for Ankalaev. Now this is the third one. They are coping for JDM now. No one can give anyone any credit whenever they beat their favourite fighters. They just have to cope. It's crazy. But we're going to start off with my YouTube comments. I absolutely hate the narrative that Islam was beating him on the feet. Really? Then why didn't he show us more of that? Because the grappling was working so well. Like, why would he? Plus, JDM is an elite striker. There's probably a chance that he would have caught him at some point. So why not nullify that? Why would he go in and do a barn burner if he could just dominate him for 5 rounds? You know what I mean? Like, that. If I was a fighter, that's what I'd do. If I knew I was an elite grappler and I was levels above my opponent in the grappling, I wouldn't strike with him. I'd grapple him and I'd fucking control him the whole time. In reality, Islam did nothing more than abusing JDM's stance, which he had because of the takedown threat by a couple of calf kicks, which didn't prevent JDM land well on Islam at the start of the third round, which was only half a minute of the fight when we saw the JDM boxing without caring about the takedown. JDM didn't do anything. I mean, he threw a decent combination to literally in round 1. He threw a decent combination. He did some nice clinch work at some point, and he also did some illegal up kicks. That's basically what he did. That is all he did. And, which he had because of the takedown threat. Even if Islam only was able to tee off on JDM because of the takedown threat, it doesn't negate the fact that he was beating him on the feet. Takedown threat or not, he was still doing it regardless. So it doesn't really matter. Okay? And look, people before this fight, me included, were saying that JDM would piece him up on the feet. JDM's that good, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, Islam dominates him, and it's like, yeah, but here are the reasons why. Here are the excuses why. It's like, no, we were just wrong. Just own up to it. Merab has 2 finishes in 16 fights. Islam finished 8 out of his last 10 fights. Yet Islam is accused of being boring. This is exactly the same as what Khamzat Chimaev, right? So Khamzat Chimaev against DDP, he has one fight that you could make the argument that it's boring. All of a sudden, he's a boring fighter. This is what's wrong with the sport. He has one fight where he can't get a finish from his grappling exchanges. Then he's the worst fighter on the planet. He's the most boring fighter ever. Dominant but boring. All of Islam's other fights up until this point have been either wars, like with Volk and Poirier, or they've been domination, finishes, quickly. First, second round finishes. He has one fight where it goes the distance. And was it eventful? Not really. Does that mean it's a bad fight? No, because there's different ways to control. And Islam, and I don't get why people say all Islam did was lay on him for 25 minutes. He was attempting subs. He attempted a rear naked choke. He attempted a Kimura. He attempted a Darce choke. JDM defended them all very, very well. And he just couldn't get it. That's pretty much it. Islam was trying. He was advancing the position. When he got him down, he was going for submissions. He was going for submissions. You know, he was getting his back. You know, he was trying to get, you know, into fucking side control to get the Kimura. He was trying to get the Darce choke. JDM just defended it really well. And that's why people are going, he just laid on him for 5 rounds. And he didn't even try, he didn't even get a submission. It's like, yeah, but he was trying. Well, what do you want him to do? Not get a submission? And then just go, I'll just stand up then. No, he's going to maintain the position that he's in and continue trying to get a sub or advance. JDM's ground game, when he's on the ground, his defensive jiu-jitsu, I guess, is very, very good. You can tell he's been training with Craig Jones. That's not what domination looks like. You don't win fights by laying on someone in real life or in the cage. It's a sport. Entertainment. That fight was neither of those. You don't win fights by laying on someone in real life. Well, I guess if you think that Islam, all he did was lay on him, then you can win fights by doing that, clearly. But that is what domination looks like. He took him down at will, beat him on the feet, you know, ragdolled him on the floor. JDM was literally on the floor wincing. JDM nearly cried, bro. He nearly cried. What does reply say? Yeah, JDM cried. How much more domination do you need? It wasn't Hamzat level domination, but close enough. Exactly, man. I mean, it's just straight cope. And this is what I was saying. Islam got 9 finishes before this fight. He was looking for a finish, but JDM's submission defense was good, so it's not boring. Exactly. He was just defending the takedowns. No, sorry, defending the submission attempts. And this one from this guy, this is crazy. The most disgraceful cherry-picked main event in MMA history by both guys. JDM cherry-picked Isbum instead of his deserving contenders, and Isbum ducked Tuporia for this. So both JDM and Islam cherry-picked each other. That makes no sense. How can you both cherry-pick each other? So JDM cherry-picked Islam Makhachev, right, a defending lightweight champion moving up, who really is a big lightweight. He's really a welterweight. And Islam Makhachev cherry-picked the welterweight champion of the world. How are you going to cherry-pick a world champion? He cherry-picked... They both cherry-picked a world champion, guys. They both cherry-picked a world champion. This was as bad as Zhang stealing Silver's title shot and then giving us that performance. All I can say is I'm so thankful they put Morales and Brady on this card. The card was good from start to finish. I found the women's fight boring. I know people are going to say, well, it's kind of the same thing. But Valentina literally just laid still. She didn't even try and get any submissions. I think she tried to get a crucifix at one point, but that's about it. She didn't try and get any submissions or anything. She was just kind of just there. And I think maybe it's because it was a woman's fight, and it's just, you know, they're a bit of a, I don't know, they're a bit, But the card was great. Told it to people, Morales is the uncrowned champion of the division, the best in the division. He's the uncrowned champion. Look, he could beat Islam, sure, but the uncrowned champion after, what, knocking out Gilbert Burns? I don't know, bro. As for JDM, other than being stylistically a good matchup versus Bilal, called that win. That's a good call. He's not even top 5 in the division. He literally beat the champion. What are you talking about? He's not even top 5, bros. Like, he's literally number 1 contender. He's literally number 1 contender. And he beat the champion to become the champion. He's not even top 5. So, I mean, people were picking JDM to fucking win this fight. And then they go, he's not even top 5, bro. He's not even top 5. He was the champion. He's not even top 5. He was literally the champion. He's not beating Morales, Prates, Isbom, nor even Shavkat. I won't even pick JDM to beat Gary. That's how bad he is. He's literally the fucking... He was literally the the welterweight champion. And you can say, well, so was Jamal Hill. Yeah, that's true, but Jamal Hill would beat an old, washed Glover Teixeira to win the belt. You know what I mean? JDM beat a prime Bilal. Split decisions with debutant Hafez and Kevin Holland. We know why. It's just crazy. And he says something else as well. My friend, from the performance we saw versus JDM, Ilya easily KOs him. I don't know what JDM did in that fight against Islam to make you think that Ilya is just going to go in there and KO him. JDM had no answers. Nothing. I don't understand what this guy's trying to... From that performance, Ilya easily KOs him. Walks him down and lands big power shots. Ilya's like 5'7", bro. He's not like... Islam's not moving back down to 155. So Ilya's going to have to move up to welterweight. 2 weight classes. At 5'7". Come on, bro. The big difference in the boxing ability of Ilya and JDM is Ilya can walk you down with solid distance control and throw bombs accurately in the open. JDM, meanwhile, is not that skilled at all. Yeah, JDM's shit. He just became the champion because he's not skilled at all. That's a really good point. Oh my! He's busy throwing combinations, starting with jabs. I mean, that's how most people start a combination. You set it up with a jab to gauge the distance before he starts throwing power shots. Most people do that. From that performance, Ilya destroys Isbum as elite grappling compared to JDM's low-level grappling. It's not going to happen though. Morales is going to end Isbum's career. I mean... So JDM shit. That's Islam only won because JDM shit. But before this, JDM was going to win. God. Bilal lost because he didn't wrestle in the beginning of the fight, not because he couldn't. But then when he did, he was getting stuffed. And even if that was true, so what? He lost to Islam. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Keep feeding Islam bums and hyping up. Keep feeding Islam bums and hyping them up on the way. Yeah, Islam's just beating bums, guys. No, Islam's just we're just feeding him bums. You know, Alexander Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, JDM, just complete bums. You know the featherweight GOAT. You know Charles Oliveira, the guy with the most finishes, I believe, in UFC history. Most submissions in UFC history. Bums. Dustin Poirier, always been fucking solid. A bum. JDM, the welterweight champion, a bum. MMA by far has the dumbest fan base I have ever witnessed. You know what? I agree with that, David. Because we're just feeding Islam a bunch of bums to pad his record, you know? Volk twice. Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, you know, just a bunch of fucking bums. A bunch of nobodies. Alright, a bunch of nobodies. And you can say, well, what about Moicano? He was scheduled to fight Arman Sarukian and he pulled out. I don't know. White boy picked a white boy in a UFC fight. Time all over again. I can't see. I replied, Islam is white as well, you mong. This has nothing to do with race. They're both white. I don't even know what he's on about. White boy picked a white boy. Alright, Linda Marsha. We all know what fucking colour skin you have, making it about race again. I bet you're a John Jones fan is all I'll say. You know what I mean? I'm switching to boxing. I can't take this anymore. It's not even that bad, bro. Like, I'm switching to boxing. Like, come on, man. Shit, man. Nah, mate, Michael Myers. This guy just... I don't even know what... Listen. Islam just... Look, we're just feeding him bums, alright? We're just feeding him bums. And JDM and Islam Makhachev cherry-picked JDM, the welterweight champion. He cherry-picked the welterweight champion. Who would you want Islam to fight at welterweight? Like, he's fighting the champion. I don't really want to, like, it's crazy. But then we have this. So this could be a long video, by the way. So I hope you enjoy. This is MMA Guru's reaction to Islam defeating JDM. I'm gonna just make this a little bit bigger now since we're over to X posts. Get the setup a little bit different. Right, so we have MMA Guru's reaction. Now, I was going to do a video on MMA Guru's breakdown of the fight, but to be honest, it's not really worth dissecting, because all he basically does is just kind of laugh and say, this is boring. But then he does say, Islam, great win, dominant, it is impressive what he was able to do, I just don't like it. He didn't really cope, but his instant reaction is kind of interesting, so we'll just let it play and we'll react to it.
Amazing performance from Makhachev. Amazing performance from Makhachev. Don't you just love to watch as he lays on top control in half guard for 4 minutes every round and does 0 fucking damage whatsoever.
But he's chasing the subs though, isn't he? He's trying to get a submission. He's trying to advance the position to get submissions. Like I said, he tried for a rear naked choke. He took JDM's back. He tried for a Darce choke. He tried for a Kimura. No damage, but he's actively trying to get the submissions. He's just defending them to negate that. He's not just taking him down and sitting in half guard and doing nothing. He's trying to advance the positions. JDM's defensive jiu-jitsu happens to be quite good. That's all it is. You know, just sitting in half guard and doing nothing for 3 minutes. It just didn't happen though, did it? It just didn't happen. You know, JDM had to fight the hands a lot. JDM had to try and scramble. JDM had to try and fucking judo throw him, and end up on bottom. You know, doing nothing in half guard for 3 minutes is just not what happened whatsoever.
Amazing win. Wicked performance. Wow, how fun to watch this inbred freak do his thing.
He is probably... Now look, Dagestani diehard Dagestani fanboys are insufferable. They really are. But I think diehard Dagestani haters are just as bad. I'll be honest. Like, I'm playing both sides here. I'm kind of neutral. I'm on like a neutral ground. I'm like a centrist. You know, I don't mind the Dagestanis as long as, you know, they don't just like Ankalaev when he failed every single takedown and then just stalled on the cage. I don't like that, because he's failing every single takedown and stalling on the cage. I don't mind them getting takedowns, trying to get submissions, advancing the positions, blah 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 blah, and just controlling. I don't mind that. But the Dagestani fanboys are insufferable, and the Dagestani haters are also equally as insufferable. Both sides are bad, and whenever they do well and they do something that you don't like, it's resorted to inbred freak, and I'm not offended by it. I don't really care. It's just it just makes you look like a bit of a salty crybaby. I'll be honest, you know. It's not a good look.
Amazing. Wow. Unbelievable stuff from Makhachev, dude. It's insane performance. Wickedly insane performance from Makhachev, dude. Amazing. Start crying. Thank you very much, guys.
So, I mean, it's just like, just salty, innit? It's just salty. And then we have the stats here. 26 significant strikes, 19 minutes of control time, 4 for 4 on takedowns. Now, like I said, this fight wasn't like an absolute barn burner by any means. Like, it wasn't like it was like action packed from start to finish. You know, like, wow, this fight was a banger. Like Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval, that was a banger from start to finish. All right, but it's different styles. And, you know, he could have thrown more strikes, but when he got it to the ground, he was searching for the submissions. He wasn't searching for damage on the ground. Most of the significant strikes came on the feet. You know, when he was on the ground, he was trying to search for the submissions, and, you know, He just couldn't get it because JDM's defense was very good. And we can look at the comments. We have Blonded MMA here with he always has great takes. 26 significant strikes over 5 rounds is terrible. How do you guys think he's pound for pound? Because he dominated him. He didn't let him do anything. Compared that to this greatness. Yeah, this is a more, I guess, fan-friendly KO. All right, and it's very impressive to sleep Charles like that, but it's different styles. It is like you can't just compare completely. I mean, you can if you want to say I prefer this, but you can't say this is more impressive than this because it's completely different styles. Not at all. The only people he would put to sleep is the crowd. Worse than 309. Russia is ruining the sport. So it's not, do you think his fight was entertaining? It's, did he impress you? And if you think that controlling JDM like that isn't impressive, then I don't know what to tell you. Well, this guy's got it. 50-44 a prime, undefeated in UFC. Maddalena is one of the most impressive wins in UFC. It is. People were picking JDM to win. I was. What was impressive? Could he have put on a better performance? Yes, I'm more disappointed in JDM than anything. This is a fair take. Like I say, it could have been more excited. It could have been more excited. Exciting even. But it doesn't mean that the performance wasn't impressive. And we got this one here. Yes, the casuals didn't notice. He completely shut down JDM's leg. He's, winning on the feet. Islam could have won without the takedowns. This wasn't Hamzat versus DDP. I don't know about winning without the takedowns. Maybe, but I guess we'll never know. But it's just people coping, man. And look, this is him at the end of round 5, crying. Sorry, at the start of round 5, crying, like nearly in tears. Nearly in tears. Islam landed a total of 21 significant strikes with JDM with 11 minutes of control time through 3 rounds. Okay. And then again, watching the hug show. He wins. I respect it, but holy shit, they are so boring to watch. It's not boring. I don't want to be like fake hardcore. I don't think it's boring. Sleepy Bulk, one of the best main cards of the year, just for the 2 title fights to be 8 generational stinkers. They're not stinkers. I mean, why didn't JDM stand up and strike with him? That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good question. If it's such a shit style of fighting, why didn't JDM just get up? Why didn't he just get up and just carry and just keep it on the feet? 19 minutes 10 of control time in a title fight. That's crazy. The crowd were leaving. Fight or cuddle session, because 90 minutes is wild. Cuddle session, no, he was trying to get the submissions. JDM was defending it very, very well. People are just... Cuddle session, no. He was trying to submit JDM. He couldn't, because JDM's defense is very, very good. This is what the sport is turning to. They are now counting cuddle times to the damage or KOs. It's all combined. Islam outstruck him on the feet, controlled him on the floor, was going for sub attempts. That's what wins fights. JDM did nothing. What did you want them to give it to JDM? What did he do? He didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Who else are they going to give that win to? And Tuporia's chiming in as well. Tuporia's chiming in on the situation by saying Jack needs an entire camp dedicated to just wrestling. I agree. What a disappointment of a champion. You should go to Georgia and learn something. Islam, you need something that you just can't train. Emotion, you're the most boring thing in this game. Every day I'm also and I put you to sleep. I love the confidence. We need to have this fight. Have we ever had 2 champs fight each other? I don't think we have. This might be a first. 170, I don't think he stands a chance. At 155, maybe. Not at 170 though. And Islam's not moving back down. He isn't moving back down. And I never thought I would ever say this, right? But Kenny Okoye is like a bit of a genius. Right, he kind of predicted it perfectly. I'm gonna let the whole clip play. I clowned on him with his Ankalaev cope, but this is kind of good from Kenny, bro. He was kind of on the money.
I think JDM understands that Islam's so good at finding submissions through scrambles. So I feel like it's going to lead to Islam racking up a lot of control time. JDM might like try to scramble, then see Islam like maneuver and like, oh, Islam has that covered. Let me chill a little bit, which actually going to lead to Islam having a lot more control time than usual. So we could actually see a situation here where JDM's scrambling less because he understands the threat of the submission. So he ends up stalling out like under Islam, where Islam's kind of just being active and like racking up control time, which might actually lead to a little bit more of a boring outcome on paper, but it's a possibility that I want people to understand. I think
that's literally exactly what happened. Exactly what happened round by round. So Kenny, fair play, bro. Great prediction. And yeah, that's basically it. That's exactly what happened. People are blaming Islam again. Everyone was blaming Chimaev. What about the opponent? They couldn't stop it from happening. It's down to them to stop it from happening. You know what I mean? Oh, Islam's shit and boring. Chimaev shit and boring. What about the opponent that did nothing to negate it? You know, we've got Islam becoming champ here and new. You know, the comments makes history by lying on his opponent the entire fight. The rules have to change, man. This shit's so boring. Dude screaming in the octagon like he didn't just spend the entire fight doing everything he could not to fight. He was trying to chase the submissions. I've always dreamed about laying on a man for 20 minutes. These people, man, they're just... I don't want to come across like a fake hardcore, but... He was chasing the subs, man, and piecing him up on the feet. He was beating Jack in every single department. And then we've got Guru, right? We got Guru. You know, just going on an absolute cope tour. You know, we all clowned on MMA Joey. We all clown on MMA Joey, right, for going on an absolute like Twitter cry when Ankalaev got knocked out. MMA Guru does the same thing when a Dagestani Caucasus wrestler wins. He just does. Official stats for Della, my name is Makhachev. All right. The cinema, the classic zero significant strike special to close out the championship round. What a savage. Let's ignore the fact that he was actively trying to chase the submission, but JDM was doing very well at defending it. Islam did just take him down and lay there. He was trying to advance the positions, get the submissions. JDM just didn't let him. You know? But it's like here, you know, congrats to Makhachev. Man, those white Russians sure are something special when it comes to grappling. You know, at least he does give him props. Alright, but then at the same time, sending Paddy Pimblett, I think that's just a joke. You know, don't make Islam versus Makhachev as easy to pour. Makhachev would win and ruin the most entertaining fighter in the sport by laying on top of half guard. My camera's just turned off. Bear with me a second. My dog just knocked it off. There we go. Makhachev would win and ruin the most entertaining fighter in the sport by laying on top of him in half guard for 4 minutes every single round. We can't let inbred freaks ruin every division. He didn't lay on half guard for 4 minutes in every single round. He was trying to advance the position. MMA guru. You're meant to be the guru of this stuff, bro. You've started training yourself. You can look at grappling and go, yeah, he's trying to do this. You know, this is good. He's trying, but JDM's stopping him. We're en route for a perfect, amazing card. Shouldn't have to have a 115-pound woman and Dagestani to end it. It would have been fun otherwise. Both laying on top in half guard, never passing to dominant position, no significant strikes, no nothing. Boring, inbred freak. Never passing to dominant position. He was trying. He was trying. He got JDM's back at one point. He almost had the Kimura. You know, he had his arm stretched out. He was in side control, stretching his arm out, trying to get the Kimura. You know, got the Darce nearly. JDM fucking twisted out of it. So he did have dominant positions. JDM was just getting out of him. Amazing performance for Makhachev. Don't you just love to watch as he lays on top, controlling hard guard for 4 minutes every single round, does fucking 0 damage. Amazing win, weak performance. Wow, how fun this is. How fun to watch this inbred freak do his thing. Inbred freak. he's just a crybaby, bro. And I know it's a character, and he's playing up to the character, blah, 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 but, you know, there's another one there, how to run a pay-per-view, women's flyweight, and Dagestani fighting main and co-main. Another round for me, Makhachev laying out on top, JDM needs to go for a finish. Great job, Makhachev laying on top for 3 minutes. Fuck these inbred fucks, ruins the sport. Shevchenko, our fighter. Why are you saying that? Like, Shevchenko, you're 27, grow up. I just don't like the cope. Look, I picked JDM too. I was wrong. Very wrong. Oh, let's not start this cope tour. Alright, let's just accept it. Makhachev dominated. JDM did nothing. He didn't just lay on him in fucking half guard for 4 minutes. He was trying to press forward. He was trying to advance the positions, get the submissions. He was piecing him up on the feet with the leg kicks, even beating him to the punch when it was on the feet at times. You're giving Islam Makhachev loads of shit. Where I haven't seen you condemn JDM yet. And I know he said in his recap, I'm surprised with how shit JDM was, but a lot of it's just shitting on Makhachev for grappling. Shit on JDM for not being able to stop it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with DDP. You couldn't do anything to stop it. Shit on him for doing that too. You know what I mean? It's just one of them, innit? It's just whenever somebody wins that people don't like, they cope. It's just how it is. It's how the sport is. Okay. And like I said, I like both guys. I don't mind either of them. I picked JDM. But end of the day, I was happy either way. You know? So it is what it is. I don't know what you guys think about this cope tour that everyone's going on. And yeah, like and subscribe. Links down below. Become a member. Join the Discord today. Until next time, I'll see you in a bit.